Okay, so The Kitchen, which is the directorial debut of Andrea Berloff, his writing credits include things like Straight Outta Compton. I think she also had a credit on, I think, Bloodfather. Anyway, so the movie is based on a DC comic book miniseries. The title, the kitchen of the title is Hell's Kitchen, District in New York, late 1970s. The plot, which has echoes of Widows, the TV series, which was then recently filmed by Steve McQueen, starts with three mobsters knocking over a store, getting arrested. They're sentenced to 3 years, leaving behind their wives with debts to pay and no way of paying them. Elizabeth Moss is Claire, who is the subject of horrible domestic abuse. Tiffany Haddish is Ruby, whose mother-in-law has never accepted her into the community. And then Melissa McCarthy is Kathy, whose husband says he'll make sure that her and the kids get looked after when he's inside, but somehow doesn't seem to be doing that. So in their husband's absence, they decide we're going to have to take matters into our own hands, and they think that actually what they should do is take over the protection rackets that the guys have been running, making allegiances outside of the ring and then muscling into pole position and being much better at it than the guys. And the men don't like it at all, but it turns out that the women are very good at it. Now, it's a really odd film because on the one hand, it's a good cast, good solid cast. There are kind of, I said, echoes of Widows, which is a story that I like. The problem with it is incredibly unbalanced in the way that it doesn't know ever how to exactly deal with, on the one hand, the sort of the tougher subject matter, the violence which it deals with, and on the other hand, the fact that it kind of looks like it wants to fall over into Melissa McCarthy-style comedy. And this is not Melissa McCarthy's fault, incidentally, because if you look at something like Can You Ever Forgive Me, she is perfectly able to juggle those very, very different modes. There are a couple of interesting moments. I think Donald Gleason has kind of got quite an interesting character. I always think that that Elizabeth Moss is terrific, and actually she has the most interesting role in the film. And there is some nice period detail, but you spend a lot of it watching it thinking there are individual things in this that kind of make sense, but the tone of it is so all over the place that it's impossible to get involved in it because it just keeps looking like a slightly bodged TV movie, but with more violence than you would usually expect from a TV movie, and the fact that it keeps calling to mind something like Widows, which was so brilliantly judged all the way through. So it's a strange mess of a film. It's kind of like it's like a dish that's been made up from leftovers. There are some spicy things in it, but in the end, it's kind of undercooked and overheated at the same time.